good Saturday. We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. When you come in the chat, let me know you're here. How are you on this good Saturday? If you can see me, press one. And if you can hear me, press two. If you can see me, press one. And if you can hear me, press two. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to the Coin Gang family. You already know you are at the right place at the right time. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. This is the number one home for personal development. This is a place where you come in ordinary and you leave extraordinary. This is a place where you come in better or you leave better than when you came in. I want to let you know if you are here on Saturday, you are definitely one of the tallest trees in the forest. You are definitely the MVP. You represent the change that everybody is talking about because there's so many other places you can be other than here on a Saturday night. This is not a gossip channel. This is not a rah-rah channel. This is not a being people's business channel. This is a channel that is based on personal development. So if you are here on Saturday, that says a lot about you. So shout out to you and yours wherever you are. Once again, this is the number one home for personal development. This is ministry for the abstract mind, and this is a safe space for everybody out there that has an out the box philosophy. If you have babies, please keep your babies close to you. Keep your babies close to you and be patient for anybody in your life that's trying to love you. If you can see me, press one, and if you can hear me, press two. Is everything good on your end? Because over here is top shelf or nothing. And before I begin, I want to give a special shout out to everybody that contributes, whether it's a super chat, whether it's a cash app, whether you're booking a session, whether you're buying an ebook, whether you are liking or sharing or just telling somebody about this coin gang over here, because this is a thing that is moving, right? Personal development is the only religion, right? So shout out to you. Today we are going to pick up where we left off. We're dealing with law 8 today from our 10 laws of accountability. And we're going to talk about the lessons of blood. We're going to talk about looking at our life from a bird's eye view. We're going to talk about monetizing our trauma. Our conversation today, our build today is Law 8 from the 10 laws of accountability, and that is pain is the paywall. And I want to give you the heads up and let you know that this is something that you're going to have to trigger through. Okay? So I want to let you know off rip that this is a conversation that you are going to have to trigger through, right? So before we even start, the best way for you to trigger through this is breathing correctly, right? You're going to have to breathe correctly because this is a conversation that you got to trigger through, all right? So let's just take a breath, deep breath. And we want to make these breaths slow and deep. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, deep. Go as long as you can. Suck up as much air as possible. Right? You're going to have to trigger through this. So we have to get you out of fight or flight. Right? A lot of times when we're triggered, that's come from fight or flight, adrenaline going on, right? Okay. So on the next breath, you're going to breathe in and hold for 5 seconds before you exhale. Okay? So let's do that. So you should feel calm. You should feel at ease. But most importantly, I want you to feel safe. And I want you to feel, or I want you to know that I'm not trying to take anything from you. Right? 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 I'm not trying to take anything. I'm trying to give you something. Okay? And we'll take one last breath. You picked your life. You picked your mom. You picked your dad. You picked the poverty. You picked the trauma. Everything that you hate about your existence, you chose it. You picked it. You picked that baby daddy. You picked that ex-husband, right? You picked the projects. You picked your gender. You picked it all. Take a breath. Now, some of you would say, after all that I've been through, why would I pick this, right? Well, you have to know that you had a life before this life. You have to know that you was something, right? You was something. And you pick that woman that you call your mom that you can't stand. And you pick that father that didn't show up for you. And you pick those scars you had. And you pick those traumatizing moments. Because pain here is the paywall, right? Your pain is the paywall to abundance on this planet. Many people want something for nothing, but abundance on this planet is based on your pain, right? Your pain is your rites of passage to this abundant planet. Take a breath. We live in a trauma economy where everybody wants you to vet, where everybody wants you to tell everybody what you've been through. Oh, my mom left me. Oh, I was touched on. Oh, this, oh, that, right? And people make millions off you venting, but you always leave feeling the same. You just want to be heard. But what's the power in that though? Real accountability is looking at your life and where you are and saying, it's my fault. Real accountability, right, is whatever's going on with you, you knowing that you put yourself there, right? You are where you at because of diet. You are where you are because of thought. You are where you are because of words. You are where you are because of the things you listening to. If you had a bad day today, you have to look at how you went to sleep last night. Was it intentional? Did you have a plan? What did you eat before you went to sleep? If we believe that thoughts are things and the universe is mental, then everything is mental, right? There is never a time where we are in our situations that we didn't think ourselves there. You can't talk about your baby daddy or your ex-husband or your ex-wife or your baby mama. Like attracts like. What connected you to that woman or to that man? It was thought. Okay. So in the physical, if thought was the magnet that brought both of y'all together, thought is also what chose your mother. Thought is also what chose your father. Thought is also what picked that environment and that class level that you was born into. Now here's the thing. Why? Why did you pick your mother as your mom? I understand how you feel about her. Why did you pick your father as your father? I understand, how you feel about him. You don't feel loved. You don't feel wanted. You don't feel protected. You don't feel safe. But why did you pick them for though? What was it that you had to learn that you could only learn through them? So, if you put your hand by your mouth and you blow, right? What is that? We know that's something because when you transition, that breath leaves. Where did that breath come from? You don't get your consciousness from your parents, okay? You might look like them, but the thing inside of you does not come from them. So where does it come from? It's always in existence. It's never a time when you are not, right? It's not random for you to be where you are. Life is more complex than that. You are the alpha and omega, the beginning and end. I'm not talking about your physical body. I am talking about your breath. That is everlasting, right? And it chooses to come here and it chooses to leave. Okay? Now, modern day religion is for 3D people. Okay? Whether we like it or not, there's certain information that just doesn't resonate with people. So the average man and woman likes storytelling. Noah, David, and Goliath, right? People like to hear stories. Those that can go deeper understand that the creator that other people look at as outside of their body, those that can go a step further in their knowledge understand that the source is inside of them, right? So when you transition, you go back to the source, right? The all. And when you come back in the physical, you bring yourself here. You even take a breath. When you transition out of here, that is also a divine choice. You pick and choose whether you live or die. Someone says, no one knows when you're going to pass. You're right. In the physical, in the physical, this is not who we really are, y'all. In the physical, no one knows when they're going to transition. But I'm talking beyond the physical. I'm talking about your consciousness. For whatever reason, when it's time for you to give up the ghost, you decide that. No one else decides that for you. Okay? That's accountability. Because when we look at where we are in our life, we have the power to create heaven on earth in every situation. We have the power to change that. Whatever we don't like, we can change it, right? Where anywhere you go, there you are, right? So in the trauma economy is about assigning power to everything, right? And you feel powerless. Now, do I take my own advice? Sure. So I picked to choose to love a mother that was emotionally unavailable. I chose to be born from a father that was extremely broken. Okay. That was my choice. So I chose to be born to a mother that was emotionally unavailable. And I chose to be born to a father that was completely lost. Why? Why would I choose that? Why would I choose a mother that didn't have the mothering thing to give to her babies? Why would I choose a father that would just go around making children and just be a buck? Who would pick something like that? Why would I do that to myself? Right? Who does something like that? I did. I did. I did. You did. I chose to be born to a mother that was emotionally unavailable so I can learn to love. I chose to be born to a father with flawed humanity so I can learn how to love. How can you love people that are like this, right? It- to love people that don't show up for you, right? To love people that are so caught up in their own world, they don't even realize that you're growing. They don't even realize that you're here. They don't have that thing to give to you. Who would pick something like that? See, if I didn't pick them, I wouldn't have the lesson. See, if I didn't pick them, we would know each other. So, whatever blessing that I've ever been to you from you listening to me, it's only that way because of that. Because if I change one thing, if I had the mother that was Susie Homemaker and I had the father that was, Leave It to Beaver dad, it sounds cool, right? But then what about you? Who was going to tell you this today, right? You might have been by the edge, and only someone from my background could deliver you through that shit. So it's worth it, right? It's worth it. Because if I change my mom and I change my dad, then we change this. Maybe you're not in the wherever you are on a Saturday night. Maybe you're running the streets, right? Maybe you're somewhere taking an L. But because it worked out the way that is, you are with me. We are here together and we are building and we are fellowship in the name of personal development. You see, it didn't make sense to me when I was somewhere in dark places crying. It didn't make sense to me when I was wanted to be loved and I felt like something was wrong with me. I felt like someone wasn't picking me. It didn't make sense to me at that specific time, but it makes sense now, right? It makes sense that I was born to the individuals that I was born to, and it makes sense that, man, I had to learn how to love, right? Because they didn't have nothing for me. So me learning how to love them for real in their death, right? I don't have any parents. Okay. So me having no parents, so I have to learn how to love them in their absence. I have to look at their humanity and I have to come to terms with, you know what? All that time I was taking this personal, it had nothing to do with me. My mom and my dad were individuals before I came to the planet. My mom and my dad had experiences before I even knew who they were in the physical. My mom and my dad had their own trauma. Who am I to judge those people? Right? Who am I to judge those individuals? How come I come on the scene? My mom had me at 26, right? How can I be this big head little boy telling my mom this, that, and the third? I don't even know her story. I'm just here. I want love. I want this. I want hugs. I didn't even know that she didn't have that to give. See, I never asked because I didn't care. I was a child and I wanted what I wanted when I wanted it. Judging my father, right? My father's mother had 5 boys, right? They're all Brisbanes. Then the man, their dad, something happened. I don't know. And then a new man came on and gave my granny like 4 or 5 more kids. So it was a new man, right? And it's these 5 boys before him. I can only imagine what happened in that house. And this is old school black, you know what I'm saying? This is old school black, right? I don't know what it was like for my dad in that situation. So by the time I was born, I didn't even know my pop's story. I didn't even know my mom's story. And I didn't care because I was selfish and I wanted what I wanted. So, real quick, peace, Faye. Appreciate you putting it on the wood. I appreciate you, beloved. Man, you here on a Saturday night, that says a lot. So, shout out to you. Shout out to Shy Gal for putting it on the wood, right? Putting it on the wood. I appreciate you. Man, yo, just to let y'all know, personal development is the wave. You see people come put it in the wood. And our topic today is Law 8 of 10 Laws of Accountability. And it is pain is the paywall. Pain is the paywall. Now, I know some of y'all been through some crazy shit. I know. And that's why it's important to breathe, right? Because I'm not victim blaming because you're not a victim. I'm not a victim. Now we can go back and forth on who got the most trauma all day long, but I'm not a victim and you're not a victim. What I am telling you is to don't just get caught up on human, the physical part. It's deeper than that. Everything that we've been through was based on our pain being the paywall. You do not get what you want on this planet without a little bit of blood. Any woman here that says, I want to have children, you want pain. So for you to experience that beauty of that child and that and that feeling, like I can't feel what y'all feel, right? I don't know what it's like to carry a life inside of me, right? I could only just try to connect on the what it feels like to y'all. But any woman that ever said, I want a child, you had to bleed for that baby. You had to experience pain for that baby. So for you to be a mom, pain was the paywall. That is an example of everything. Listen, every single culture has an example of pain being the paywall. Some indigenous cultures did human sacrifice to please the gods so they can have a good harvest. So blood was the paywall. In Christianity, you believe that God sent his only begotten son, right? And whosoever believe in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Pain was the paywall. In Old Testament, you had to do what? Give a burnt sacrifice, an offering to the gods, right? There has to be something that you put something down so you can pick something up, right? Pain is the paywall. How big is the blessing that you want? See, this was all decided before you even got here, right? Now, the thing is, here's the thing. Pain is the paywall. Pain is not the lifestyle. And that's where people get caught up at. Pain being the lifestyle, lack being the lifestyle, right? So when you go somewhere and you exchange your money for the good, right? That's pain being the paywall, right? It's an exchange. It's not a lifestyle. Pain is not a lifestyle. It's an exchange for something to move forward. It is a sacrifice to move forward. You have to show and prove. You have to show that you are worthy for the abundance that life has. But it's not a lifestyle, y'all. It's not something that you just every single day, you in the trenches. Nah, right? Everything we've went through in our lives, it has a lesson to it. You're supposed to figure out the lesson. You're not supposed to ask, why is this happening to me? You're not supposed to ask, or you're not supposed to say, woe is me. You're not supposed to sit there. You're not supposed to sit in it. You're supposed to use it to scale. You're supposed to identify what you went through, figure out the lesson in it, and then you use it to scale. Your trauma can be monetized, and when you monetize it, that's your opportunity to scale, y'all. Listen. A lot of y'all have been through some crazy things, right? A lot of you have been through the worst. Do y'all know that's a movie? That's a book. That's poetry. That's a rap album. That's a calendar. That's a t-shirt. For where the world is going, right? There's not going to be no job for you. Your ability to scale is based on your trauma. Why won't you sell your story? Y'all too busy trying to talk it out with people and tell people where you came from. Why don't you put a price on that? Why don't you sit your ass still and write your book? Right? Sit your ass still and write your book. Make your t-shirt. Those things that you've been through as a child, you can use that to scale. You got a story. So you mean to tell me you're going to fill out application after application? You're going to hop from job to job when you sitting on $1 million story? You sitting on something that can literally change your class. You don't think no one will buy that? You don't think no one wants to listen to that? Right? That's the reason why you picked it. You picked your trauma so you can bubble with it. Breathe. I'm not talking about that you pick some things. I'm talking about you picked everything. Every single thing that made you cry. Every time that you felt suicidal. Every time where you was in a dark space, times where your skin was looking rough, times where your hair wouldn't grow, times where you were checking your bank account and you was asking why, when your husband left you with them children, when that woman that you loved betrayed you, you picked it all before upon arrival, right? All that time you were sitting thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. Why not? You picked it for a reason. Do you see what's happening in the market? Do you see how many jobs are laying off? Right? Do you see what's happening? Do you see the inflation? Do you see the supply chain? You really think that it's going to be a job that lifts you out of the situation you're in into a new season? You really believe that? The only thing that can get you over the hump right now is your story, fam. That's it. And the longer you sit on your story, the longer it's going to haunt you. Some of y'all woke up today and you know you're not doing the right work. You woke up today and that story in your mind is burning a hole in your heart because you want to get it out, because that's your testimony, right? And you doubting yourself as an author, and you're doubting yourself as a director, and you're doubting yourself as a content creator. But every single day you feel it burn because you know there's something that you're not doing. And then some of you have made what you picked a lifestyle. You are getting high every single day off the pain. Whatever you see me doing, y'all, this is because of my trauma. This is because I got a hole in my heart, right? This is because I've been in some really, really, really dark spaces. And there was a time where I thought that something was wrong with me. Why do I keep feeling how I'm feeling? Right? I didn't understand who I was in this life story. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know why I was waking up every day. Why was this happening to me? And I felt very powerless. I felt dehydrated because just everything looks so big, Life looks so big, and I had a lot of questions that no one can answer. Oh, it's my mom. Oh, it's my dad. Oh, it's my sisters. Oh, it's my environment. Or maybe it's because I'm brown skinned, right? Powerless. So I had anxiety, right? So I needed to find the best drugs there was, right? I needed to find the shittiest Motel 6, right? I needed to lay up with a woman that didn't wish me no good, right? I needed to numb myself because I don't got no power, right? Everything else got the power, you know? The only thing I thought I had power over, well, I can fuck. So let me put all of my eggs in that basket and be a buck. Because after all, ain't nothing left, right? Till I realized it wasn't my mom's fault and it wasn't my dad's fault. And it had nothing to do with me being brown. And it had nothing to do with segregation. And it had nothing to do with my skin tone. And it had nothing to do with my school. I mean, that's class, right? So there's truth in that about class, but it doesn't matter because I have the ability to overcome everything. And the moment where I started overcoming was when I started snatching the power back. Like, mother, you're an imperfect woman. I love you, but I can no longer blame you. When my mother was on her deathbed, I looked at her and told her, don't look for me in the next life. I broke the bond that we had. I said, yo, this ends right now. Lady, you don't owe me nothing. And matter of fact, I'm so sorry that I looked at you and I judged you. Because who am I? Who am I? This is my story. I just used you to get here. I am so trash for judging you because I don't even know what I'm looking at. So when she was laid in her deathbed in hospice, I stood over her and I said, I release you. You don't owe me nothing. You don't owe me. I had it wrong. I was comparing you to other mothers. You don't know me. You got your own story, right? But the most important thing is I told her, don't look for me in the next world. Don't show up as my wife or my husband or my kid or my friend. Whoever I am in the next world, don't show up. Right? Don't show up in my life. You are free, lady. Same with my pop. Because when you take full scale accountability, y'all, then you can no longer do that. It's no one's fault. I am here because I am here. The world burning down all around me. I am here, you know? Chaos and dysfunction going on. It's my turn to feel it. It's my time. This is all part of my consciousness. I came here to experience. I came here to experience parents that didn't stay together. I came here to experience living in the projects. I came here to experience pain. I came here to experience being molested. See, I'm not just talking shit to you. I'm applying this to myself. I said I came here to experience being molested. Did you know that happened to me? When it happened to me, yo, the worst ever. That imagery stayed in my mind for a very, very, very long time. Why did that happen to me? Why no one kicked the door down, right? And came in and protected me. Anybody that's ever been through that, that's one of the things you feel. You don't feel worthy because why didn't nobody pull up? Why is this happening to me? Where are my protectors at? Right? Breathe. Right? One more breath because we don't want to be in fight or flight. Right? Where are my protectors? Why is this happening to me? Right? I should be protected, yo. I should, you know, someone should be bursting in the door, attacking that individual, right? No, 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 no. No one came. No one came, right? So you live with that in your mind. You're trying to, you know, decipher that. Like, yo, did that really happen to me? Yeah, right. Did that happen, yo? Like, yo, it is a crazy feeling to go through that, right? It's a, it's confusing, right? And it speeds your clock up in that area, right? It speeds your clock up, right? But that was my story, y'all. Right? It was my story. Shout out to Exceptional Enough to Excel. I love that name. Appreciate you with the 9.99. You know what I mean? And I'm encouraged by you, so I appreciate you. Selfish Love. It's some fire names that I really like. What is your advice for people who have not been through extreme trauma or really anything detrimental in your life? Hmm. That's not something I wish on nobody, right? It's just I pick my story for my own reason. So for people that haven't been through certain things, there should be no excuse why you move forward, right? See, when you come through certain type of backgrounds, you anchor and you tap into that as fuel, right? It's fuel. But if you've never been through anything like that, and there's nothing you don't have no blockages in your mind, yo, go for it. Go for it. But what I will say is, you, I don't wish the trauma on you, right? But you're going to go through something. And whenever you bump into that something, just know it's for a reason because the something will happen, whether it's through your children or through your relationships or through your career, burying your parents, your granny, career changes, environment changes. You're going to hit a wall, right? And the only thing that I could tell you is when you hit that wall, be honest and feel it. It hurts. Someone break your heart. Be honest. It hurts. Don't numb yourself, right? Feel everything that is happening because it's for a reason. So if you never been through certain things that I have in the past, that's great, right? But I'll be lying to you if I said there's not nothing in the future that's going to happen. So that's why it's important for us to have a heaven on earth mentality, because we are going to experience pain. We are going to experience discomfort. We are going to experience loss. It's not always going to be our best moment. So that's why we have to celebrate, and that's why we have to love, and that's why we have to fellowship, to balance out the dark moments, because to be human is to suffer. So, because we're going to suffer no matter what, because pain will always be the paywall, no matter what, you make sure that when you are loving, you love hard. You make sure that when you play hard, and you fellowship hard. You make sure that you lean into all the positives that you have in your life, because just like that, things turn around, right? And for the bad, it happens. So if you've never been through some of that stuff, shout out to you. Shout out to you. But keep your mind open for when life does have a lesson for you. And unfortunately, not sure why, but those lessons oftentimes come through pain. So I appreciate you. Shout out to Melanie C. Appreciate you. Terry was here with the 10 piece. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you. Shout out to Reginald. Man, I'm an artist at heart. So I know you understand about creating in the abstract. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you. So what are you gonna do with all this trauma? Right? What are you gonna do with all this trauma? You're gonna package it up, you're gonna move it around, you're gonna distribute it, you're gonna sell it. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep paying for therapy sessions just so somebody can listen to you? Right? So they can just say, well, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about that? Or are you going to go on offense? Are you going to finally stand up for yourself and own your life? Right? You are not a victim. You're not a victim. Right? Are you going to stand up, and are you going to claim that you are not a victim, that everything that has happened to you is through your consent? When somebody was putting their hands on me, right? When somebody was putting their hands on me as a child, I didn't ask for that as a child. But what was inside of me at that time wasn't a child. Physically, I was a child. But the essence in me is ageless. And the essence in me already knew how this would turn out. Right? That's the God in you. It's all knowing. It doesn't have a birth date, right? It's all knowing. And it knows for you to be here, it knows what you needed as the pain, right? And it's always a lesson in blood. And the reason why it's important to breathe, so you can hear something I'm saying in the right way, right? Because I don't mean to take anything. I'm not victim blaming. What I'm saying is it's deeper than what the eye can see, right? It's deeper of where we put ourselves for the lesson, man, for our consciousness, right? When we read religious books, we see all these stories of sacrifice, right? Men going on the cross, people burnt at the stake, burnt offerings, civilizations destroyed, people turn to pillars of salt. And we read it and we just look at it as a story. But what about our paying for our paywall? We are totally fine thinking that a person was nailed to a cross so we can live. But if I say it's time for you to be nailed so you can live, you like, hell no, it was already done for me. It don't work like that. You're totally fine someone carrying the cross for you. But when it's time for you to carry your cross for your own blessings so you can move forward, so you can show that you're worthy, you ain't with it. You want someone else to go to the cross. But when it's time for you to go to the cross, you want to say that I'm victim blaming. You want to say, not me. But you pray and you. Why you want someone going to the cross for you? So it's okay for someone else to bleed for your blessings, but you ain't got to do nothing, right? When someone else goes on to the cross for you, you all good. But when I tell you got to carry your own cross, I'm victim blaming. I'm blaming the victim. Pain is the paywall. What we are talking about is supreme accountability. That means if it's happening, it's on me, right? I have to be intentional about everything that I'm doing. I have to be intentional about how I go to sleep. What do I want to get in that space? I have to be intentional about my diet. I have to be intentional about how I look. I have to be intentional about the things that come out of my mouth, cuz everything I do is attracting something. Now, what is the something? Right? If I don't want certain things happening in my life right now, then I have to be intentional beforehand. I have to be something beforehand so I repel it away. So intentional when we go to sleep. Before you go to sleep tonight, think about what you would like to accomplish in the space. Before you go to sleep tonight, replay your entire day so you don't take nothing that happened today into your sleep. Be intentional about who you want to have a conversation with in your sleep, right? What is it that you want to learn? What do you want to bring from the unseen into the seen? Be intentional about that, right? Make sure we're not going to sleep with a full stomach, right? Make sure that you're not going to sleep with a heavy heart. Make sure you get the petty off of you before you lay down. Make sure you go to sleep tonight with an agenda about where you want to land and how you want your day to look tomorrow. That happens tonight. I don't want no police getting behind me flicking the light on, right? So I have to be intentional about that tonight because I'm going to go outside tomorrow. Now, some of you say, Ken, I thought you said pain is the paywall. It is, but it ain't lifestyle. Pain is not the lifestyle. It's just the paywall when I got to transition, right? It's not the lifestyle. It ain't something I'm going through every single day. It's a moment. The exchange happens. Boom. I go to the next level. It's entry on what I'm trying to do, right? So as I keep scaling, it's going to be new pain. But going up that pyramid, the pain is different. See, down here at the bottom of the pyramid, coming into the planet, my pain was poverty, molestation. My pain was real hurt. Coming up the pyramid, the pain now is discipline. The pain now is putting off instant gratification. The pain now is having a plan and staying focused and sticking to it. The pain now is commercial real estate, right? Turning a skeleton into something, right? The pain now is, it's an investment going on. They need $250,000. That's the pain now, because we coming up, right? We coming up the pyramid. See, when we down here, the pain is different, and that's the paywall. Up here, it's still pain. It just look different. It just look different. So as we rest tonight, make sure that we're breathing. And again, I don't want to trigger anybody. I know we all been through unique things. And I know in your mind, you're saying to yourself, why? Right? And that's a good thing to say. You know what I mean? Why? Right? But there's lessons in the blood. And if you monetize your trauma and your pain, you'll know why. Right? Because you don't get the blessing without the stressing. You understand? So breathe. You should be good, right? It's Saturday night and you was doing personal development. That says a lot about you. So we breathe. Right? So we're going to take one more breath and we're going to inhale as long as possible and then hold the breath for 5 seconds and then release, right? 1, 2, 3. Now imagine if you would have heard this in fight or flight. You'd have been calling me everything but a child of God. Right? Imagine if you heard this in a different mindset. It'd be hard to receive. And it would have been hard to receive because you're not breathing correctly. Right? It's like I wish a motherfucker would. I wish a nigga would all day long. But you breathe. Whenever you get scared, whenever you get worried, whenever you have anxiety, the one thing you do have control over is how you breathe. Right? Is how you breathe. But let me tell you, I've been through hellified pain, right? Because I knew that pain is the paywall. I didn't know it then, but I know it now, right? And you don't know what I've been through, right? But I'm going to tell you, I've been through some of the worst traumatizing experiences, right? Just so I could be a nigga with waves. Y'all take care and make sure that you breathe. Don't let nobody trick you into thinking that you can't do it. Mm-hmm. Don't let nobody trick you into thinking that you was just born to suffer.
Right.
Don't let nobody trick you into believing that your dreams are impossible. See, when you got game, you can make the impossible possible. When you got game, you defy the odds.
Yo.
When you got game, you make things happen. Things don't happen to you.
Talk that shit, King.
All things is possible with game, baby. Take it from me. I done did it from Maine to Spain.
Come through the door with it.
My game cost me. I paid for it. So you should too. Hit that Cash App. Pay like you weigh.
Whatever you got is good, baby.